Hey, and welcome back to SoulSpaUniversity. As some of you already know, we do up-to-the-minute breaking topics that we find interesting. I'm covering the topic of Theranos today. I find this extremely interesting. In today's video, you're going to know exactly what all that is. Literally up-to-the-minute breaking information on the trial itself and what it's about. We're going to then freely discuss it, and I'm going to give you a takeaway at the end. So you're not going to want to miss this. It's insane. In the meantime, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please do so right now, because then you'll be able to hit the all notification bell, which will then enable you to hit the set reminder on future posts, so that you have the most chance you have at experiencing the content while it's still up, because we never know how long it'll be up for. All right, so we're going to dive right in. Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Please enlighten me. I don't know what this is. Tell me about Theranos.
Oh my God. So Theranos, right? All right. So I'm not even going to, I literally, guys, I have like 7 pages of notes. I'm just going to like go from what I learned. Elizabeth Holmes. Okay. She went to Stanford University and dropped out at 19 with this idea of like basically having a machine that from one drop of blood can run hundreds of tests, right? Yeah, so many professors were like, no, this can't be done, but some like for some reason like stood behind her, and she dropped out at 19 of Stanford and basically started this company called Theranos. She got her first $1 million check from a family friend, and then continued to get investors over the years to just invest millions. Like, she was literally taped with Clinton on a show, who basically told everybody like the generation's going to be fine because of her. Her entire board was like half of like the presidential Congress. Like, she just got so many people to invest, to the point where even Walgreens got into it. Walgreens literally invested over $125 million into Theranos, okay? And had a Theranos machine at every Walgreens, basically telling people, get your blood tested, okay? And like they had a whole commercial about like how it's not painful at all because it's one drop and all these things. And it's just, also, she originally was going to call it the Edison, which I thought was a little intrusive. Like, it's not Thomas Edison. I don't know. So yeah, so basically the problem with this is that it actually didn't end up working.
Oh.
Yeah. She even brought President Biden to like this whole factory where like apparently like all these machines were working, but I guess she like staged the whole thing. But and again, I'm not very political, but that guy doesn't even look like he knows he has eyes. I don't know. So, I mean, that's not very hard to do. But basically, like a lot of people, like allegedly bought in under false pretenses that like basically like that this worked. She had employees like working on this 24/7. It's just insane. Like, I mean, really like where it went wrong is that she was actually using the Pfizer logo on the Walgreens equipment, like on the Theranos. The way she got that Walgreens contract is like she used other people's logos to say they signed off on it, they approve of it, this, that, and the other, and they never did. So
And you said Clinton said
yeah,
this woman is our future?
yeah.
Like, so this is spanning years.
Well, I don't know if he was even president then. So basically, she's actually a year older than me. She was born in 84. And she dropped out at 19 and started this. Like, I have all the years here. So I don't, this has been over 10 years of doing things for sure. But like, so it's a tricky situation. I really don't like that she used people's logos when they did not approve. Like that, I don't like.
That's your downfall.
Yeah,
Logos.
that's really wrong, because here's where it gets like a little muddy. Basically, like, apparently investors who are the ones that lost millions in this, okay, aren't even upset, because what they were is they're known as sophisticated investors, and sophisticated investors will invest a lot of money, but because they're already so wealthy, it doesn't affect them. So they're like, it's also like a part of their thing to, like, you kind of accept a risk as an investor. They kind of, and then, like, that's kind of how I felt. And then apparently I was right. Apparently they all accept that at least 30% of their investments are going to fail. Um, Also, I don't know if they really feel like they invested into false pretenses, because apparently it is not uncommon for people to go to an investor with an idea that is not yet solid, not yet created, and speak about it as if it's in future tense, you know? So it's like, in a way she lied, but in a way she didn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a fuzzy line. Like, I understand, like, when you have an invention, you're like, I need the investment to make it, right? But in terms of this, I think she was really acting like it was literally already in the works. This is definitely happening. And it just, they worked on this for years and years and years. And basically what they ended up using is just the regular equipment that every doctor office uses, and put it in a black box called Theranos. And the results were all inaccurate for everybody. So they would tell
Yeah,
people pregnant and they weren't. They would tell people they had syphilis and they weren't. Yeah, this,
yeah. I was gonna ask. I was like, because you said they already had it in the Walgreens, so I'm like, this is obviously a scam because they knew it didn't work and they put it in the freaking Walgreens.
yeah, so that's the thing. That's where I'm confused. They knew it didn't work and they still did it. Like, that's the good point there.
That's crazy. At first, I was like, oh my god, just a drop? Because I go to the doctor and they take like freaking, they drain me completely, and they're like, thanks for the blood. Get the hell out if you can.
Yeah. You know what though? I was even thinking about this. So number one, like, let's just soak in the fact that this girl was so young and made it so far. Like, if you read up on her, it's just insane. I mean, this is nuts. Like, so we'll get to that in a second. But really, I don't know. Let's talk about, like, who cares about, oh, you're getting all these tests from one drop of blood. Honestly, to me, the painful part is breaking through the damn skin barrier. Once you broke in, get as many vials as you want. Do you know what I mean? Like, who cares if it's 7 vials and it doesn't hurt you versus a drop of blood? You still hurt yourself by breaking the skin barrier. Like, if you think about it.
That's true, except, I mean, you recently, when you went to your doctor, you always say that they just they take. Imagine all you gotta do is put your finger in a little thing, give you a little prick. You don't have to make a whole thing, like, you don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to be there a certain time. You don't have to fast beforehand. It's all
That's
this
true.
stuff. You
That's true.
just walk into a place, put your finger in. That's that.
And they were accepting it without insurance, so that was awesome. It's supposed to be like taking your life in your own hands, except it was giving people very inaccurate results. And thank God they figured this out soon, because people got second opinions, because otherwise they would have gotten treated for, like, diabetes, like all these things they didn't have. They'd be expecting babies. But back to the skin barrier thing, I still feel like honestly, there's more sensory neurons in your fingertip, which is where the blood would be coming from, than, like, where you get it from your arm. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like the commercial made it seem very, like, you know, wow, no pain, it's fine. It's like, no, it's literally the same amount of pain, if not more. And I remember you being the one saying that your doctor said it's okay to get your blood out once in a while. It helps things. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't like, to me, the whole selling thing on that, it's like, I don't know, do your thinking research on that a little bit. Like, do your own independent thinking, because that to me didn't make much sense. But with the non-appointment, the no insurance, like, that did have good things.
Yeah, yeah. The thing with the finger is that I'm assuming you don't see it. You probably put it into a little slot with the
No,
arm thing. You're looking
I
at
don't
it.
like that either. I wouldn't like that either. That's
Oh,
disgusting. Are
a
you?
public place to take blood, I would hate that because I would be freaked out the whole time that
I would never
so
want
many
to put
people
my
use this.
finger in a machine that's just, oh my God, you made it so much worse. Anyway, recent news. So now she's on trial. Okay.
Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's bad. And it recently came out. Here's the up to the minute recent news, guys, breaking that she was actually raped in Stanford. And that's why she dropped out and started this whole company.
I'm sorry to laugh. It's terrible that happened to her, but what would make her start this company from that?
Okay, well, okay. Anyway, I believe that can happen. We will talk more about this off air, Tommy. But I believe that can happen. And we'll get more about that later. But yeah, she's also claiming that her later boyfriend, Sunny Balwani, who also invested millions in the company, had a lot of influence over her, including her voice change. I don't know if I mentioned this, but her voice changed. Like
So
a
what?
Okay, like to a man's voice.
Okay, I mean, I thought you were gonna say like, oh, she does a British accent now.
That would be more normal.
That'd be hilarious. She's like, oh, like the deep Ireland, south of Ireland. That's the accent we're going for.
Well, anyway, yeah, many professors were interviewed. Many people that knew her before were interviewed. They were like, that was never her voice. We would remember. Now it's like this very low, slow voice that seems kind of like a guy. It's really interesting. To be honest, I wonder if she paid attention to the research that like men actually pay more attention to lower voices. They pay less attention to higher voices. So maybe that's why.
That's
Um,
what that. Yeah, that was the question I was gonna ask next.
what?
That do you think that she did that because she's in a business type atmosphere, and they say that men with deep voices are basically like every boss, every CEO would have like a deep male voice, and people would they would think they would just see it as an in charge.
Oh, you heard this too?
Yeah, I've heard this.
Okay, yeah, that's what I think. Also, possibly out of nervousness that she's hiding. Maybe it came out through that voice because maybe she just knows. To ask someone for millions is kind of really hard. And like also knowing it doesn't really work. Like maybe it just manifested itself through this deep voice. Um, there was research, I think a few years back that they were like, what's with women in this like weird deep voice crackle they're doing all of a sudden, where like Kim Kardashian's doing it, like all these people were just doing this weird, making their voice really low, which is interesting because that's like the one damage you could do to your vocal cords in terms of singing or speaking is like to make your voice lower than it naturally is. So yeah, yeah, that was definitely interesting. I know her like famous idol was like Steve Jobs. She just wanted to be so much like him. She even investigated, she had former Apple employees working for her and former people that work for Steve Jobs working for her, and asked about his clothing choice and like his designers, and literally tracked down his designers to emulate the same thing for her. So that was interesting.
So she would just wear all black with freaking turtleneck the whole time.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean, if you really go through the whole thing, me and Tommy off air, we want to parody the whole thing. Um, it's just because you got to see these pictures. Listen, I'm not bashing her at all. I just have a comedic mind that wants to do parodies. All right. I mean, I'll parody myself, man. Yeah. So, all right, like, so back to this. She's on trial now. My next question was like, did she want it and try to make it work? I do believe she wanted this to work. I do believe she was trying to make it work.
I mean, yeah, of course, it makes sense that you would want to, but
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I
wanting
don't
something and
God,
then
I don't think she had malintent, but she would never let anyone see what was in that black box, which was her Theranos thing. But really, it's because it was other.
okay, so yeah, that so she's gonna deserve what she gets.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know how typical this is. People do invest in things before they're complete. She did work on it. I believe she wanted it to work. I mean, the only thing is putting it in Walgreens, before it was ready is kind of, you know, like
Yeah.
they would say, like, so I also researched the work environment, which was apparently really brutal. And she would like segment like each department, like she would like fragment each department so they wouldn't communicate with each other. So nobody actually knew it didn't work, really.
Okay,
Like,
so she purposely did this. Okay.
which is funny because that's what the government does. But basically, like everybody would eventually it came out that people would test it, and a lot of people resigned. A lot of people dropped out. But some, first of all, I want to know about the some that are still in there. That's interesting to me. But anyway, this one guy came out and basically said that when they all tested it, that all of a sudden it was like they all had syphilis, and the leading like boss at the time was like looking at them like it could happen, you could all have it, but it was like very obvious, like it just didn't work. um and then yeah, apparently like two people like couldn't do this anymore, they dropped out and they were like followed, like they couldn't talk to each other, that like things were tapped, like one guy after leaving did sue or something, and he wasn't allowed to even tell his parents what was going on, and they almost had to sell their house to cover his legal expenses.
Where does she get the money to do this? Is it just she's taking the investors' money and just putting into whatever the hell she wants to do, like follow this guy?
Well,
Like how did these things blow my mind
I
because
mean, I know she was definitely packing heat. She had bodyguards. Yeah, I mean, they had millions invested in it.
wow. Yeah,
Her
like some of
paycheck,
these things,
her paycheck itself was like 250 a year, which apparently isn't a lot, but like everything else. But everyone wants to know where that money went, millions. But they have to pay the employees, they had buildings,
where did that money come from? If they're developing,
they had to
where did
make
that money?
a commercial. Um, the investors, how do you not understand that part?
Yeah, I know that. I understand the investors, but the investors are investing into the product. They're not investing into your paycheck.
Nah, I don't know. It works certain ways, Tommy.
Like some of these things like blow my mind because you know the business I'm in and I work and during the Madoff thing, Bernie Madoff thing,
Oh, he invested a lot into this, by the way.
of course he did.
So no one
He
really
literally,
for that one.
Bernie Madoff lived right behind where I work. And he was friends with a lot of the people I work for. And they invested a lot into his whatever the hell he did.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were saying earlier that a lot of people are like, oh, they're fine with it, it's just a loss. Like I've seen this person who owned a large. I can't go into too much because I'm signed up for an NDE. So this person that was signed that was
NCA?
NDA, whatever the fuck it's called. Uh, this person was friends with him. Like I've seen him come back, go to dinner, all this stuff with them. And they lived in the place I work and they owned a very large portion of that place. Sorry if this is, cryptic, but this is how I can't I'll say it any other way. Um, when it all came out, these people who were very, very wealthy, it hurt immensely to the point that they had to sell their place. They had to get rid of a lot of their properties
Yeah.
just to live like an above normal person and not what they were.
That's a different thing. That's a
So
very
when you said earlier that like people were just investing like it's no big deal, because they were investing in this guy, and I'm like, I don't. That stuff is crazy to me, because they're not investing what normal people would invest. Well, if somebody invests in something, it's usually what, like $1,000, maybe $5,000. That's like a joke to these people, and it's like,
I know. Well, that's the thing.
so
What I know, that's fine. Because I know victims of Madoff as well. And I feel really bad. And they were able to not pay taxes for the rest of their lives, at least, because the government didn't know what to do. But either way, I don't know if this is a different ballpark, but these are considered sophisticated, literally called quote unquote sophisticated investors. These people have billions. They're only investing a certain percentage into investments of this kind. You see what I'm saying? And
mhm,
they're allowing for at least 30% of it to fail. Okay. So basically, they want to get in on the next new thing. They want to be in on it. It's like a fun game to them. They want to be in. She's very believable. She made it seem very like it's going to help people's lifespans, all that stuff. And they accept that if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now you got to remember, they all were friends. So this actually is very believable to me, that like one friend tells another friend, oh yeah, invest. And then the other one tells this one, oh yeah, invest. And then, they all like, it's like climbing a ladder, and half of these people were family friends of family friends of family friends. And then it's like almost like you don't want to you allow it. If it fails, oh well, my friend's daughter tried something and it didn't work. You leave it there. Like, they're rich enough to leave it there. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking people in Congress, but also I don't know, she modeled herself after Steve Jobs. Apparently Steve Jobs also dropped out of college, lied to get to the top. The other thing is, people are all like, how did this happen? Not only do I see how it happened, where, oh, I trust this person, they told me to. And what it is like I said, wait for this part of that. Investors want the next big thing. She was very compelling. She was very good at selling herself. They wanted something to invest their money in at that point. I mean, they probably had 5 other things of the invention field. They wanted that 6th thing. She was giving it to them, right? Now, this is completely understandable how it could happen. Okay, number 1, like I said, the friend referral thing, right? Number 2, they're investors. They're not surgeons. They're not master electricians. They're not in a lab like her. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Trying to be top of the game in science. They're not the best artists in the world. They're not the designer of the newest phone. Do you know what I'm saying? They are investors. Their job is to invest in the next big thing so their money can work for them. If they were the ones with the greatest groundbreaking idea that they think could make billions, they'd be in there investing in their own shit, right? They are literally like, I just want a new idea to invest in. They don't want to do the work. You invest, their job is to put the money where they think it's going to grow. It's not their job to get in a lab and figure out if what she's saying is true or works. Plus, even if they were in there, do you think they have the expertise to figure that out? Probably not. They got smart at getting rich. That's it. And maybe the way they got rich has nothing to do with what they're investing in. Do you know what I mean? But they know who to invest in, what percentage to, things like that. They accept a certain amount of failures. For example, when I go to the mechanic, am I a head mechanic? Do I speak car? Do I know if what they're telling me is true? If I knew how to do it myself, I'd be doing it myself. Or even if I did know how to do it myself, I didn't have the time or feel like it, I'd pay them to do it, but I wouldn't be back there with them watching. You just trust. That's what investors do. So to me, everybody trying to figure out, how did this happen? How did this happen? How did Biden fall for it? How did all these people fall for it? Because they don't know any different. How would they? She obviously has the language that no one else knows, but like at least many do, to like sound correct. Obviously, there's something about her invention that's different than all the rest that they don't know, which is why they're investing. You see? So it's like, even if you were a chief scientist, you have to allow for the part that you don't know, because that's what's going to be her moneymaker. That's what is her invention. Like, you could be the leader, the top of your field. And if someone came out with something in your field that they think is way better, well, that's what's different about theirs than yours. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's about expanding consciousness and allowing for things to be different. A room for something you don't understand to prove that it is true for change to happen. So of course they would believe in this. Why wouldn't they? I mean, there was already technology that existed that was kind of similar. It just wasn't testing 100 from one drop. Her technology apparently got to the point where it could test maybe 100 tests from 25 drops. To me,
well, she said.
No, that's what they're saying. So to me,
Oh, she actually. Oh, okay.
yeah. To me, like, I mean, that's way better than what I could freaking do. And honestly, the way she did it, like meaning like the fact that she can even get there, of course she's going to know the sophisticated language of what to say and how to say it. And nobody's going to know if she's talking about baby elephants in that language, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, because she's like, I can't figure that out to save my life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying yet?
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like I'm thinking of this is that I understand what you're saying, but you're thinking like somebody who's a normal person. These people are super wealthy who have a team around them 24/7. You don't think that they can easily find someone who just can be close or like in that field to be like, this is not true. This is impossible. Do not spend money on this. Or they were just they were awestruck by the girl. Maybe she's charismatic as hell.
Well, that's the thing. So yeah, there was a professor that was working at the time that she went to college, who's a girl, I think. She seems like a great person. Anyway, and she's like, hey, all these men are thinking with their lower half. And you would,
she's attractive.
Okay, you would think that because I guess men would consider her attractive, but once you hear that voice, doesn't it throw everything off? I mean, it literally sounds like a man. I don't feel like I wouldn't see her as a female after that. You have to hear the voice.
People have their things, their kinks, right?
I mean, but that's what I mean. If you have that, you wouldn't be attracted to a female.
Oh, I wish we could. I kind of want to hear this voice now. I don't know if I thought you were just doing like you're just making the girl's voice a little deeper. I'm now wondering if it's like, boy, buy this thing.
Hang on, I'm actually gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause it and find you the voice.
Oh my God, yes, please, actually.
All right, it's not as bad as what you're saying, but hang on. All right, guys, I got it.
It's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. I have to tell you, in all my years, I can't recall a private company
That's what I was
generally
reading.
many have never heard of getting this kind of attention and scrutiny. What do you think's going on here?
This is what happens when you work to change things. And
first, oh my God,
you, and then you change the world. And I have to say, I personally was shocked to see that the journal would publish something like this when we had sent them over 1,000 pages of documentation demonstrating that the statements in.
Oh, okay, stop.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, that is rough.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that she's actually very well polished there. Usually she's real scrappy and literally at the cover of a magazine, which, as you know, in previous videos that I have yet to post, I always make a joke to you that geniuses, I joke like they can be scrappy, or whenever I look super scrappy, I'm like, it's okay, I'm a genius, I'm allowed to, you know what I mean? So that she's really well polished there, but usually she's even more like a guy. And guys, I am not downing anyone that is, can you get your ish together, please?
Sorry about that.
Anyway, I am not downing anyone that identifies as a man or, you know, any of that. Like, love you however you are, but just showing Tommy what we're dealing with here. So no, we're just trying to get down to the bottom of what's going on and how did she get all these investors to invest. I had my hypothesis and guess, which is 2 seconds ago, and he thinks they're thinking with the lower half, which is what many thought, but what's with the voice? Can you think with the lower half with that voice? I don't know. I mean, like I said, she's not a bad person. It's not that she's unattractive, but if you're a straight male and you're attracted to how she looks, aren't you kind of confused by the voice is my point. You know what I mean?
Yes, but if she's at a party, I highly doubt she'll hold that voice the whole entire time. That she's on an interview. She can set her mind to staying that way. But if you're in a normal public setting, she's going to slip here and there and her voice is going to fall a little bit back to normal. So that's another thing.
But this has been a thing. This has been known that everybody's like, what's with her voice? So in everything that we've ever heard of her for 10 years, it was that voice. But when she was in college, it wasn't. And then there is like, they did say at a party that she lit up once.
Yes.
Yeah.
The freaking turtleneck thing. Oh my God, when I saw that. I mean, she's a decently attractive woman, but not attractive enough to be throwing millions at it.
Like I said, I think they wanted the next big thing. Now, okay, so what I was getting at, I don't know where it is now, but basically, what I think she was really trying to do is something called just noble cause. Let me see, where did I put it? But you're gonna also, this next fact, you're gonna be like there's this other fact that nobody talks about that I'm like, that's a little interesting. Well, I don't know where it is right now, but basically we'll get to the just noble cause in a second. Basically, I feel like, all right, she's basically doing just noble cause, which, God, I don't know if that's even a term, but basically what it is, noble cause corruption, which without looking it up, I already know, I could tell that it's basically doing the right thing for the wrong, doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, which to me, I'd rather someone do the wrong thing for the right reasons rather than the right thing for the wrong reasons. All right, so here's the question. Were people's lives at risk? I say no and yes. They did test the blood of terminally ill patients to test out the device. I probably forgot to mention that part. That's where a former Apple employee did walk out. She really didn't like that idea at all. Also, they mentioned this in one thing, and I've never heard about it again. They mentioned it as if it's no big deal, but basically in 2015, the chief scientist of it, Ian Gibbons, took his life after after receiving a subpoena to testify in the patent dispute with Holmes' former family friend.
Oh, okay. I thought he used the machine and was like, you have terminal brain cancer. And he's like, ah.
Yeah, so I feel bad about that. It's like, was it endangering people's lives? That wasn't cool. Also, the Walgreens inaccurate results, like I said, thank God they got second opinions because, they caught on when they did. Yeah, and so that's where, are they risking lives? It's I'm not sure.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, who the hell, even if this thing worked, let's say, who's going to take the machine's final judgment as to what the hell's wrong with them? Everybody would go to a doctor to make sure it's correct. So I can see the upside of it and I can see the downside of it, because nobody's going to be like, this machine says I have the freaking diabetes. I'm going to go ahead and just buy diabetes pills. or set up my life to be to make sure the diabetes doesn't affect me. Everybody would go to the doctor right after to verify.
Yeah, I know, right? Especially the type of person that went to that kind of machine that's like, I'm doing this because I don't feel like making a damn doctor's appointment.
Like, have you seen the people that go to Walgreens? It's all old people. Same thing as CVS. The line of old people. So
yeah, so they barely mentioned the suicidal guy, which I'm like, okay, cool. And then yeah, so I do have the takeaway from this, but I'm gonna wait for you to see if you want to talk about anything else in this. Totally open to it.
mhm. Well, with the suicide guy, I think maybe he jumped it a little too much and he panicked. It's like, oh my God, the courts want to talk to me? Well, that's that. It's like,
Well, it's obviously not boding well right now. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
but it's not something that they're like, you're gonna go to jail. It's, hey, you're going to court. It's like, oh God,
She might go to jail for a while.
she's going to jail. She's
What?
definitely going to jail. If the courts, especially, here's the thing.
Hmm.
If you mess with money, especially big money, I don't want to say it's a corruption type thing, but guess what it is? They're gonna
What do you mean you don't want to say it's a corruption right thing? But gosh, what? Yeah, that's obviously like point A of the alphabet of like everyday life. Yeah,
well, the rich are vindictive people.
Can you not refer to them as that? Obviously not. The investors aren't even like bothered by this. Stop. Like, grow out of your weird beliefs.
Okay, all right. Then my belief is that there's the face that they put to the world where we'll say, oh no, it's no big deal, blah 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 blah. And then normal thing where they're like, this person basically stole from me. Let's go ahead and
Feel that way. In fact, there are still people working for Theranos, which I'm very confused. I really want to research that. Okay. So that might be
people still working at all.
I don't know. Also,
They're making hats.
also
Like,
you
go to our gift shop.
she's going to jail, right? But actually a lot of people ended up on top after things like this. Okay, so the guy that Wolf of Wall Street was about apparently is like an all-star life coach now.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I guess that makes sense.
So yeah. I have a takeaway, but I don't want to rush it if you want to do something.
I understand how this is. People are, they're constantly moving especially when they don't know what the hell they're doing. If they think an idea can get them rich and they have low moral compass, they're just going to plow right through. So I understand why this woman did what she did, but I don't understand why she didn't think further ahead that people are going to realize this doesn't work. I'm the head of this company. I'm the face of this company. It's going to go bad for me.
Because she thought she would fix it by then. Okay, so
okay.
Yeah, she thought she had people working to figure this out, so it makes sense. Okay, so honestly, like, here's my takeaway. Like, yes, this is so motivating, and that like it shows in a way that anything you put your mind to and focus on, you can totally like achieve anything. Like, if she can achieve that, any of us can achieve anything, right? So that was the initial, on the surface, takeaway I had until I had a download the other day. And now it gets deeper. So basically what it is that she supposedly started this because she got raped in college. Okay. So I can totally understand how that can happen, where some people go one way with it, and other people, to protect themselves, they'll do a lot of things, a variety of things. So I could see how this could have been a barrier to not get vulnerable or protect yourself from. So my takeaway is to never do anything out of wounds. Okay. I basically wrote a lot of pages about this, but basically I'm trying to wing it. So basically, like, don't let your wounds drive you. Okay. Yeah. As soon as I'm about to say channel information, there's the interruptions. But basically, if she were to, so look at the two different realities. She let it be a motivating factor. She got pretty far, but how far did she really get? Now she's in court, and her boyfriend, she's now alleging, did the same thing to her. Like sexually assaulted her and went over the line there. Okay. So it's like you can run from your wounds. You could transmute that energy into something so amazing and successful for yourself. But if you're running from something, it's never a good energy, because then she finds herself in the exact energy she was running from. If that happened to her in college and she actually took the time to figure out different ways to heal and deal with it and grow from it, I feel her reality would have been different. I feel she would have gotten a really good job after college, like anybody from Stanford gets usually. She would have been making good money. She'd still be healing, but because she's true to herself and healing within herself, she'd then attract a good mate that's true to her as well. His healing energy would be great for her. Maybe even a warm environment for a child if she wanted. And she would honestly become like not only like an amazing person at her job that makes a lot of money and an amazing warm relationship that's successful as well, but also like an amazing life coach from this. Like she could be giving TED Talks right now. And just look at the difference in the energy of the two realities, you know, like in the one where she just ran from her wounds and was operating from her wounds, she must have been like nervous and tense that whole time, chasing the money, chasing the investors. She didn't have the outside appearance that she was, but her entire life was just dedicated towards building this company and just running. She's doing it out of like fear or emotions that were not good. She was being pushed. But the other way, it's like she'd face what it is and she'd grow from it actually organically and take the time to heal and be future pulled, you know? So that energy is completely different, because then if you fast forward to her age of 37 now, she'd be in such a different energy as she had been since 19 the whole time, versus poor stockbroker lady who's been nervous ever since then and is now facing a prison sentence, which she's honestly been facing the court date for years. Go ahead.
But do you think that, I understand it's a bright way of saying what happened, but maybe she just used it as like an excuse, like an excuse, or like, just, you know how everybody needs a story. Everybody that, you know, they want to be out there needs a story, needs something. She's just using that as like, this is why I did what I did, and not the fact that, yeah, it was a bad thing that happened to her and it happened, and then she just decided to do something else. She's just using that as an excuse, as this is the only reason I did this, because of that. So feel bad for me.
You know, we will never know. I mean, maybe on some level it is true to the point where she just realized it herself. But, you know, I bet a lot of people will think the way you're feeling, you know, all possibilities really exist.
Mm-hmm.
However, maybe she didn't know until recently either, or, I mean, I doubt it was at the forefront of her mind if she's trying to run from it. But I hate to say, in your realm of possibilities, you might have a point if these lawyers are literally grasping at straws. However, you know, we don't know, so we can't say. I can't say. You could say,
Yeah, of course.
I can't. Yeah.
Well, this is a good story. I don't, and it sounds like it's relevant in the news. I'm surprised I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically all this stuff I wrote is about, no, it is in the news actually, is about like, basically like be aligned with your best future. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard because I feel like she was aligned with her best future as she covered up those wounds and ran from them. And it's like,
Yeah.
you can be in line with an even brighter future if you just trust, I want to say God and the angels and, your higher self and your future self and healing and all that, that's all there for you right now. However, I do understand some people don't believe in that. So, however, it wasn't her daily schedule to pray, unless she just showed that to the courts too. I mean, there's such a difference.
True. Yeah. You never know. People say a lot.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's great if she prayed, so yeah, I just feel like there's such a difference. It just basically, I wrote down that every decision affects your life and your energy like affects all your decisions, so basically, like, if you're aligned with like fear and running from something, that's what's going to be the flavor of your life. And that was really the flavor of her life ever since then, if you think about it, if that's the case, if that's what happened. And yeah, and if you faced it and was present for yourself and healed yourself, and got all the help you needed, and stayed focused on that reality and trusted, then I think it'd be a whole different life.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't believe I didn't read about this. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, it's out there. I mean, we'll talk
that's
more.
why I'm like, I read the paper every day. I didn't see anything about this.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Well, she got a lot of higher ups in there too. The media made her, if you think about it. So yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about this off air. There's a lot more to it. But for now, you good?
I'm good. That's the great story. Thank you, Christina.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Like, anyway, so yeah, for now, guys, namaste. And if you would like to align with your best reality, you can contact me at SoulSpaUniversity@gmail.com. It's a link in the description box. If anyone would like to share interesting story or anything on this channel, that's the same link in the description box. If anyone got anything out of this content, would like to donate, it would feel so amazing to my heart. Link in the description box. But please do not forget to like and subscribe. And so you could hit that all notification bell so that you could hit set reminder on the future content, so that you'll have the most chances of not missing out on it while it's still up. What are you laughing
at? Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later.
All right. So yeah. And now I forgot the rest, but
thank you for watching, everyone. If you want a personal session with Christina, you can find her at.
I just said that, so
never mind, everybody. Thank you for watching. This was a good one, Christina. Thank you for this.
Also, check out my New Year series. It's my thank you to all the viewers. So yes, I don't know how long it's going to be up. It really should be a private coaching package that I will add exclusive coaching content to. But yeah, it's a free thank you to my viewers. So much gratitude for you guys being here. Thank you so much. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you.
Have a good one, guys.